Good evening, everyone. It's that time of the week yet again. It's Friday night, November the 20th. It's 8:30. The chat window on the side. So please introduce yourselves. Let me know where you're from. If you're from within the UK or from outside of the UK, introduce yourselves. And also let me know if you played the quiz before or if this is the first time you've taken part in the Friday night. And then James, I think we've done this quiz for quite some time now. You probably know the usual format. It's 5 rounds, 50 questions to test your cinema knowledge on a whole host of subjects. And then at the end, we'll reveal all the answers and see how you all got on. Hope you've all had a good week. A couple of people have introduced themselves. A couple of gremlins in the system again this week. I had some technical issues last week with the old router. Good evening to Shirley Cormish. Good evening from Worksop. Jack M's back with Hannah, based here in the city of Bristol, in the village of Long Ashton, where we're based, LA Cinema. The Dude. Yeah, I remember the Dude. The Big Lebowski, the Coen brothers. And we got Suzanne Chilcott. So in a minute, I'll announce the topics for this evening's quiz. Hope you're all ready. Hope you'll enjoy it. I thought last week's quiz was quite tricky. Let's see how you get on with this week's. 5 rounds, as I said. 50 questions altogether. And are you ready? Here are tonight's topics. So the first one was a recommendation we had from Amanda Harris and Richard in London, the capital. They asked for the horror genre to be brought back. So round 1 is horror. Round number 2, we're going to go for the filmmaker, the American director David Fincher. The third round, we're going to test your knowledge on sporting films. Round number 4, a little bit topical with what's going on in the US. And of course, here in the UK, we're going to go all political with political dramas for round number 4. And the last round, a nice little one, one I've come up with myself, film that look at the cinema, the filmmaking process, and what goes on behind the scenes. There's some great films. So a couple more people joined us. Good evening to Gail Rogers, a regular. Thank you. And the Richards in Bristol. Not a good day today in Bristol. A little bit of rain out there, a little bit overcast. And Bikey Chicks back in the house. Jessie Letworth, good evening. First time I've come across your name. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we'll get ready for the quiz in just a minute and we'll start round number 1 with 10 questions. The only thing I'll say, there's no rules. Enjoy yourself. It's all good fun. I also ask you for your opinions on various aspects of films, your recommendations, what you think. Jessie's also in Bristol. Yeah, it's all good fun just to enjoy yourself during the lockdown. Although there are some quite tricky questions this evening. Okay, so I always come up with some recommendations, stuff I've been watching and stuff I've been buying on DVD and Blu-ray. So let's get that over and done with quite quickly. Okay, so I kind of these days, I like to, when watching, I like to watch some stuff digitally on the filming streaming channels. And then I do still like my hard copies. I'm a little bit old fashioned. I like to own the Blu-ray or the DVD. Mr. Baseheart, who's a regular with the quiz, not seen him appear tonight, recommended The Ring, the Japanese horror trilogy. Told me that the first edition in the series is very good. I've never seen it. I know it was an American remake as well. So my first purchase was this box set that I bought from you. Cost me about 20 quid, which I thought was good value. And it's on the brilliant Arrow Video. I think they're based in the UK. They bring out some really good. First one, The Ring. This one I've had some time ago when we stopped doing the quiz. I've always been banging on about the Criterion collection. They're fantastic collections of Blu-ray and DVD of great films, art house, world commercial releases. I went for The Leopard with the great Burt Lancaster. Visconti, the Italian neorealist director. I've never seen this film. It's rated as one of the greatest films ever made. Gets some really great critical acclaim. So that was my second purchase, The Leopard. I've been going for a little bit of an Alan Parker phase. So a Blu-ray of Midnight Express, a film about drug trafficking. It stars somebody I always lost around about 6-7 weeks ago. Made some brilliant films. Bugsy Malone, Angel Heart. So my third purchase, Midnight Express. And the last one, my kids have been getting into the Teenage Mutant Ninja or Hero Turtles from the good old late 80s and 90s. And I've been letting them watch some of these films that brought back some childhood memories. They're pretty shockingly bad films, but I did enjoy them for the old animatronics instead of the good old new CGI. It's the Turtles trilogy. The first one, which I think was the most bootleg film of 1990. The sequel, which I remember seeing at the cinema, The Secret of the Ooze. And the last one, The Turtles Going Back in Time. Okay, so the first film I watched this week was a Netflix release. It was made for Netflix channel. I watched Marriage Story. I don't know if any of you have seen this film. Stars Adam Driver, well known for the new Star Wars films, as Kylo Ren, and Scarlett Johansson, about a couple going through a marriage split with one child, going through turmoil, and they realize the worst bit of breaking up and divorcing is when the solicitors get involved. Driver's solicitor is the MASH actor Alan Alda, and Laura Dern, who won the Oscar, is Johansson's solicitor. I enjoyed this film immensely. Very well acted by the main cast members, and it did pick up some acclaim and Academy Award nominations. So my first pick, check it out if any of you have not seen it. Have a little look at Marriage Story. Okay, less of me. We'll give a few more recommendations and get you involved at the end. Are you ready for the quiz, everyone? We're going to go with round number 1, 10 questions on horror films. And the only thing I'll say is don't write the answers in the chat box because everyone will see. Yeah, Laura Dern, brilliant performance. She's always good. Always involved with David Lynch. They've had a good collaboration over the years. A little bit underrated, I'd say, Laura Dern. Yeah, deserved of the Oscar, I think, after all those years. Okay, the horror. Let's go with question number 1. Round number 1. Okay, so name the Australian horror movie from 2014 about a single mother and a child who fall into a deep paranoia when an eerie children's book manifests itself in their home. This one's number 1. Horror genre. Name the Australian horror movie from 2014 about a single mother and a child who fall into a deep paranoia when an eerie children's book manifests itself in their home. It's a good film indeed, this one. Number 2. Okay, so I want you to name number 2. Okay, so 2 again. I want you to name the English actor born in 1887, well known for the horror genre, and he portrayed Frankenstein's monster in Frankenstein. He won the Bride of Frankenstein in 1935. and Son of Frankenstein in 39. Let's go with number 3 now. Round 1. If you just joined us, I'll repeat the questions at the end. Okay, I want you to name this 1982 horror. It was produced by Steven Spielberg and directed by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's Tobe Hooper. The film is about a family's home haunted by a host of demonic ghosts and stars child actress Heather O'Rourke, who died at the age of 12. So I'm going to give you a synopsis again. This is a horror film. It was released back in 1982, produced by Steven Spielberg and directed by Tobe Hooper. The film is about a family's home haunted by a host of ghosts and stars child actress Heather O'Rourke, who sadly died at the age of 12. Number 4 now. It's 2 answers to this one. So two points on offer. Name the actor and actress who play John and Laura Baxter in the 1973 horror film Don't Look Now. One of my favourite films from the 70s. A great horror film. Apparently one of the best sex scenes shot on film. Some even thought that they were actually doing it in real life. Maybe a little bit too much information there for you, but name the actress and actor who played John and Laura Baxter in the 1973 horror film Don't. Okay, halfway through the round, we move from a Nicholas Roeg film to another horror film. Name this Richard Donner horror film from 1976. Mysterious deaths surround an American ambassador. Could the child that he is raising be the anarchist and the devil's own son? Frightening stuff from 1976. Again, it's a horror movie. Here's the synopsis. So it's a Richard Donner film. The director: mysterious deaths surround an American ambassador. Could the child he's raising be the anarchist and the devil's own son? But tell me the name of the film. Moving on to number 6. For this one, I'm looking for a director, the name of a filmmaker. Okay, so name the American director responsible for making these horror movies. They are Halloween, The Fog, They Live, and The Thing. A well-known, talented director, very good man, a very good composer as well. Came to Bristol not so long ago, to the Colston Hall. I think it's called Colston Hall. But name the American director responsible for making these horror movies. They were Halloween, The Fog, They Live, and The Thing. Number 7, we go from a director to a character name, a famous character. Can you name the famous film character who is a psychotic killer who runs a remote motel in the 4 Psycho films? Still only seen the first one, but there were 4. Tell me the name of the character. Psychotic killer who runs a remote motel in the 4 Psycho movies. A good underrated actor played the part. Okay, we go to music now. The song Tubular Bells features in the classic 1973 horror film The Exorcist. But can you tell me the name of the composer? So a multi-talented composer, musician and performer. Don't see much of him today, but big in the 70s. So the song Tubular Bells features in the film The Exorcist. Tell me the name of the composer. A couple more left for this round. Having a bad hair day today. Not that it matters during lockdown. Okay, number 9 now. 2 more left. Name the actor who plays Ashley Ash J. Williams in the Evil Dead trilogy. So number 9 again. Round. Name the actor who plays Ashley Ash J. Williams in the Evil Dead trilogy. And lastly, number 10, final question of round number 1 for tonight, the second lockdown quiz. Name the sequel to Stanley Kubrick's 1980 classic The Shining. It was released in 2019 and stars Ewan McGregor as an older Sam Torrance. But for a bonus point, name the author who wrote both novels that were adapted into the 2 films. So 2 answers to this one, 2 points on offer. Here's the question again. Stanley Kubrick, never heard of him. So name the sequel to Stanley Kubrick's 1980 classic, The Shining. It was released last year and stars Ewan McGregor as an older Sam Torrance. And for the bonus point, name the author who wrote both novels that were adapted into the 2. Okay, so that's horror done. You had 10 questions on horror. A recommendation from the Harrises in London. I don't know if they're here tonight. How did you get on? Do you need any repeating at all? How did you get on with your ghosts, ghouls, and spirits? I'm certainly drinking a spirit tonight. Got the gin on the go. How did you find your horror tonight? You confident? Phillips asked for question number 2. No problem. 7 or 8, they think. Scale Rogers. Number 2 again then, Phil. Number 2. Yeah, so we're going back a bit in time now. I wanted to name the English-born actor, born in 1887, and synonymous with the horror genre, who portrayed Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein. So one name, he played all those roles. Very, that would be a good score to open up. The dude, well confident. I know he knows his films. He's a bit of a film connoisseur. Likes his Coen brothers. Great filmmakers. Anyone else need any repeating before we move on to number 2, round 2? There's a couple of good scores announced. Shan, 11 out of 12. Shan and Dave in Bristol would be a good start if you got that score. Okay. So round 2, I'm going to go for the filmmaker, or number 3. Number 3. So horror. What was question 3? Yeah. So name the 1982 horror about a family's home haunted by a host of ghosts and stars child actress Heather O'Rourke, died at the age of 12. That is question number 3. Probably 5, Bikey Chick saying. Okay. Round number 2. I picked a filmmaker who's quite topical at the moment. His new film will be released on Netflix the beginning of next month. It's tipped to win Academy Awards. Some already tipping it to win the best film. We've got the American director, David Fincher. Any David Fincher fans involved tonight? A good filmmaker, I always think. Not a one-trick pony. Made a lot of interesting, consistent films. Go as far as to say probably one of the best, most prolific filmmakers around at the moment in America and Hollywood cinema. Quite original. Here we go, David Fincher round, and we're going to start up to date with the new film, the latest one. Okay, so David Fincher's film Mank is based on the life and career of which Hollywood screenwriter? who wrote the screenplay for Orson Welles' masterpiece, Citizen Kane. Here's Zach's. Just said they think they did well with the horror genre. I think they got 11. Be a good score again. So one of my all-time favorites, Orson Welles, Citizen Kane, but David Fincher's latest film, Mank, is based on the life and career of which Hollywood screenwriter who wrote the screenplay for Orson Welles' masterpiece, Citizen Kane. A tricky one to start off, especially if you're not up on your screenwriters in Hollywood over the years. Tricky one. The screenwriter, the writer's not often particularly that well known unless you're a real cinema buff. Okay, 2 answers to this one. So 2 points on offer. Round number 2. Network is a 2010 Fincher film about which ex-Harvard student who went on to create the social networking site Facebook. But for the extra bonus point, name the actor who plays him in the film. So I'm looking for the entrepreneur, the owner of Facebook. And I also want to know the actor who plays that particular real life person in David Fincher's film, The Social Network. Tarantino recently went as far as to say it was the best film in 10 years. It's a good film. I don't know if I quite go that far, but each to their own opinion. Number 3, an older Fincher film now. 1992 sequel did David Fincher personally disown, telling The Guardian that, quote, no one hated it more than him, and also blamed the producers for not putting trust in him. So this is probably one of Fincher's weakest films. But which 1992 sequel did David Fincher personally disown, telling The Guardian that no one hated it more than him, and also blamed the producers for not putting trust in him? We got some more gremlins in the spanner works tonight, by the look of it. Had some issues yesterday, last week, didn't we? Because I'm right near the router. Okay, so number 4 now. So before making features, Fincher produced television commercials and music videos for famous artists. Name the black and white music video Fincher directed for Madonna in 1990 for the soundtrack album I'm Breathless for the film. Okay, we'll go with that one again. So before making features, Fincher produced television commercials and music videos for famous artists. But name the black and white music video Fincher directed for Madonna in 1990 for the soundtrack album I'm Breathless for the film Dick Tracy. That one's number 4. So halfway through the round, I can repeat end of the round. Number 5 now. There are 8 Fight Club rules in Fincher's 1990. Tricky question. Go back to the end of the 90s decade with Fight Club 99. There are 8 Fight Club rules. But what is the second rule of Fight Club? Tricky question. Number 6 now. Name the American actor who plays Nicholas Van Orton in Fincher's 1997 film The Game, Mysterious Game. I remember seeing this one back in the day at the cinema. A good film, really good film. But I want you to name the American actor who plays Nicholas Van Orton in Fincher's film The Game, about a wealthy banker who was given an opportunity to participate in a game. Also co-starred Sean Penn. Right. Let's go with the next one. Okay. A couple of Gremlins in the works won the Best Director Academy Award, but has been nominated on 2 occasions in 2008 and 2010. Name the 2 films he has been nominated for. So 2 points on offer with this one. So Fincher's never won the Best Director Academy Award, but has been nominated on 2 occasions in 2008 and 2010. Name the 2 films he's been nominated for. So 2 points there. Okay, moving on to number 8, with round number 2. The 2014 mystery thriller Gone Girl with Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike is adapted from a novel by which author? Tricky question. I'm certainly not up on my books, novels, authors. I wouldn't know this. I did enjoy the film, but the 2014 mystery thriller Gone Girl with Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike is adapted from a novel by which author? That's number 8. 2 more left. David Fincher round. Everybody able to hear okay? I know there's been some connection issues. What is going on? Number 9. Which 2007 Fincher film is based on a true story about San Francisco cartoonist who becomes obsessed with tracking down a killer who terrorizes Northern California on a killing spree? This was a film I watched a couple of weeks ago, actually, on the BBC iPlayer. Yeah, another 50p in the meter. Yeah, good response. Who knows? Maybe the workers are on strike. Which 2007 Fincher film is based on a true story about a San Francisco cartoonist who becomes obsessed with tracking down a killer who terrorizes Northern California on a killing spree? That was number 9. And lastly, I'll just top up the meter with another 50p. Fincher directed the award-winning music video Love Is Strong in 1994 for which iconic British band who started way back in the 1960s? So Fincher started his career, like so many filmmakers, directing commercials and music videos. But for question number 10, he directed the award-winning music video Love Is Strong in 1994 for which iconic British band that hailed from the 1960s. Really good black and white video. You can see it now. Good song as well by one of my favorite bands, kind of like a British national institution, I think now, still rocking. Incredible story. Okay, so despite the gremlins, despite the spanners in the work and all that's been going on, how do you think you got on with the second round, your Fincher films? And does anyone need any repeat? And I'd imagine, if so, just shout them out. Which ones you need repeating back, just let me know. And yeah, how do you feel with your David Fincher films? Zach Bowen, dead confident. A 9 would be a good score. Emma Richards saying a 7. Suzanne Chilcott asking for number 1. And Shan saying they think they did well with an 8. So number 1 was an up-to-date question. It's the new release due in December, David Fincher film, but his latest film, Mank, is based on the life and career of which Hollywood screenwriter who wrote the screenplay for Orson Welles' masterpiece, Citizen Kane. So we're looking for a screenwriter. Oh, sorry, repeat number 7. Yeah, of course I can. So what was number 7? 7 then. So 2 answers to this one. David Fincher has never won the Best Director Academy Award, but has been nominated on 2 occasions in 2008 and 2010. Name the 2 films he's been nominated for. So 2 points on offer. Looks like he could possibly be nominated for next year. He's tipped, to be honest. Okay, so before we move on to round number 3, let me know if you need any more repeating. Let me know how you think you fared with your David Fincher films. And we'll move on to the second film I watched this week. I've been catching up on some that are classed as classics, I guess, that I've never seen, I should have seen. I wanted to go for a political film because that's one of tonight's topics for the quiz. And I decided to watch All the President's Men from 1976, Alan J. Pakula film with 2 great Hollywood stars, Robert Redford, good-looking man himself, still around today. I think he's about 80. Good director as well. And Dustin Hoffman, again, I think in his 80s. Bit of controversy a couple of years ago, but let's not talk about that. But yeah, a good political film. Really enjoyed this one. Solid performances. In the 70s, it brought down the Nixon administration at the time. 2 journalists uncovering the truth and scandal with the Watergate scandal in the White House. I chose this film, as I said, because we've got a topic tonight on political films. I think it's quite relevant to today, what's going on in the US with the election at the moment. Also interesting, people have kind of lost a little bit of their faith in journalism. And I think it's interesting to watch what happened 50 years ago with these 2 journalists really uncovering the truth and doing what journalism should be about. It should be a free press, I believe, and it should be able to reveal scandal, corruption. And I thought this was an interesting film to watch. Brilliant performances, as I said, even by the support actors. They're really good in their parts. Jack Warden, Jason Robards, Martin Bolson, they're all good in it. It's kind of method actor. And I thought actually Redford gave a more of a better performance actually. But overall, really good film. So thumbs up for All the President's Men, a classic. Anybody, I expect most of you have seen this film. One of the great films in a great decade for Hollywood cinema, the 1970s. Number 1 we're going to go for. A couple of people liking All the President's Men, as we're still getting buffering problems. Dead strange. I had the same a little bit last week. What's going on? Have to change internet provider. Give Richard Branson a slap on the wrist. Not that he needs. Okay, so number 1, sports round. The Natural stars Robert Redford, we've just spoken about, as a sportsman who becomes a legendary player with a supernatural talent. But what sport does he play? This is round number 3. Question 1. The Natural stars Robert Redford as a sportsman who becomes a legendary player with a supernatural talent. But what sport does he play? That is number 1. Number 2 now. Margot Robbie plays which controversial ice skater, famous for a rivalry with fellow US competitor Nancy Kerrigan in a 2017 movie? So an acclaimed film, quite up to date. But Margot Robbie plays which controversial ice skater, famous for her rivalry with US competitor Nancy Kerrigan in a 2017 movie? What is the real life person's name? Okay, so 2 points on offer for number 3. So I'm looking for 2 answers. Round number 3. Name the 2 Hollywood actors who played basketball hustlers who joined forces to double their chances to win money on the street courts in the film White Men Can't Jump. This is a film I've never seen. Kind of my decade, the 90s. But name the 2 Hollywood actors who played basketball hustlers who join forces to double their chances on the street courts in the film White Men Can't Jump. So 2 actors. All you need to do is tell me their names. Number 4 now. Name the 2002 sporting movie from the synopsis. 2 ambitious girls, despite their parents' wishes, have their hearts set on careers in professional football. This is a 2002 film. 2 ambitious girls, despite their parents' wishes, have their hearts set on careers in professional football. But tell me the name of the film. Give you a clue. It's a British film released in 2002. Halfway through the round. Number 5 now. Yeah, I'll do question 1 again. Not a problem at the end. Not a problem at all, Gail. Number 5 now. Actor Chris Hemsworth plays which Formula One driver who had a rivalry with Niki Lauda at the 1976 Formula One Championships in the film Rush? So I want the name of the Formula One driver. He won the Drivers' Championship in 1976, a prolific season, going head-to-head with Niki Lauda for the film Rush. But tell me the name of the racing car driver. He was quite a character, little bit like the Alex Higgins of Formula One, I guess. Wine, Women and Song. Number 6, the British film Chariots of Fire won the Best Picture Oscar in which year? So British film won the Best Picture Oscar. It was Chariots of Fire, but tell me the year that it won the Best Picture Academy Award. Number 7 now. Move on to a boxing question. When We Were Kings is a 1996 documentary on boxer Muhammad Ali, and which famous heavyweight championship bout in Zaire in 1974 against George Foreman? God, this was a classic sporting event. It was a great fight. Seen the fight a few times. It's still, your hairs stand up on the back of your neck when you see this one. The champion was back. But When We Were Kings is a 1996 documentary about boxer Muhammad Ali and the famous fight in Zaire in 1974 against George Foreman. But what was the name of the fight? Ali always came up with these great names for the fights. There was the Thriller in Manila, my favorite all-time fight with Smoking Joe Frazier. But what was the name of this fight? It's such an iconic fight. Even if you don't like boxing, everybody knows this kind of moment in sporting history. Number 8, name the Hollywood actor who plays famed baseball player Lou Gehrig in the 1942 film Pride of the Yankees. So going back to classic Hollywood cinema in the 40s, a famous star back in those times, but who played the famous baseball player Lou Gehrig in the 1942 film The Pride of the Yankees? Tricky question, that one, especially if you're not into your kind of old Hollywood cinema, the old star system. Number 9 now, bit more up to date. Name this sports movie from 1988. Say up to date, it's only 30 years ago. A fan who has an affair with one minor league player each season meets an up-and-coming pitcher and the experienced catcher assigned to him. This is a good sports baseball film from the late 80s, from 1988. Tell me the name of the film. It's about a fan who has an affair with one minor league baseball player each season and then meets up with an up-and-coming pitcher and the experienced catcher assigned to him. Tell me the name of the film, released in 1988. And lastly, number 10, to top of the round, the third round this evening. Sporting films. Number 10, name the acclaimed documentary from 1994 about the lives of two inner city Chicago boys who struggled to become college basketball players on the road to becoming professional. This was a documentary that was voted in a poll recently as the best documentary feature film ever made. Maybe some of you have seen this one, but name the acclaimed documentary from 1994 about the lives of two inner city Chicago boys who struggled to become college basketball players on the road to becoming professional. Okay, somebody asked for number 1 again. So the first question of the round. Here it is. The Natural stars Hollywood icon Robert Redford as a sportsman who becomes a legendary player with supernatural talent. But what sport does he play? How did you get on with your sports questions? I must admit I'm a big sports fan. I sometimes find sports events can be, as interesting or as exciting as a film, to be honest. There's been some great sporting events over the years. Any of you need any of these repeating? And how do you think you fared? What do you think your scores are for this one? We've got 2 rounds left, so we're over halfway from tonight's second quiz of the second UK lockdown. It was a knockout. I like that. You should be a journalist. Good slogan. Shan thinks a 6 for this one. A dodgy 8 from Zach. How dodgy? Hannah Fountain at 8. That would be a good score. I think this was a recommendation from last week, sports movies. I can't recall who asked for this one. Brought back some memories of some of those events, particularly the boxing one. I remember seeing When We Were Kings at the Showcase Cinema in Bristol. Really good documentary film. An 8 from Bikey Chick, Mr. Harlequin. An 8 or a 9. Terrible, maybe a 7. That wouldn't be a bad score. You ready for round number 4? Another 10 questions. We're going to move on to politics. The lovely world of politics. We all love our politicians, don't we? So much. I won't get too political before I get flung off the broadcast, the stream. Put some more spanners in the works. Number 1 now. Political films. Name the Oscar-nominated actor who plays US President Richard Nixon in Oliver Stone's biographical film, Nixon. Mr. Harlequin saying love them, but couldn't eat a whole one. And knowing my luck, we could even have an MP playing this evening. Maybe not. Number 1, name the Oscar-nominated actor who plays US President Richard Nixon in Oliver Stone's biographical film, Nixon. I think it's a job I couldn't honestly do. I think if I was elected an MP, I'd be disgraced and thrown out straight away. You certainly can't speak your mind these days. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. Tough job. Number 2, Sean Penn won his second Oscar for portraying which American gay activist in a 2008 film? So Penn picked Oscar. He won the first one for Mystic River, the Clint Eastwood film. He won his second Oscar for portraying which American gay activist? It was a 2008 film. Name the character. Number 3, I'm going to give you a synopsis of a film. I want you to tell me the name of the political film. So name this political drama from 1964. The film is directed by John Frankenheimer and it stars Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Frederick March, and Ava Gardner. The film is set during the Cold War and concerns a military leader's plot to overthrow the president because he supports a nuclear disarmament treaty and they fear a Soviet attack. Bit of a long synopsis for you. It's a John Frankenheimer film with Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Frederick March, and Ava Gardner. It's set during the Cold War. It's the concerns of military leader, the president, because he supports a nuclear disarmament treaty, and they Soviet attack. But tell me the name of the 1964 political drama. The next one is number 4. So from a film to an actress. Michael Douglas plays the president in Rob Reiner's The American President, but name the actress who plays his love interest. Equivalent of Robert De Niro, maybe. 3 Academy Awards. He won his 3rd one for playing Abraham Lincoln in Steven Spielberg's film Lincoln. Tell me the name of the actor. Might have to repeat that one. I think we're having all sorts of spanners in the works tonight. I'll do number 5 again. So number 5, which British actor won his 3rd Best Actor in a Leading Role Oscar for his performance in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln? That's number 5. I'll do number 4 again. So Michael Douglas plays the president in Rob Reiner's The American President. In the actress who plays his love interest. It's number 4. Okay, let's go with number 6 now. Hopefully no more problems. Touch wood. Peter Capaldi plays which political spin doctor based on Alistair Campbell in the 2009 comedy In the Loop and the comedy TV serial The Thick of It? Back in the room. I don't know what's going on tonight. I really don't know. I do apologize. Virgin Media, I'll be on the phone straight away. Straight on that phone. Number 6 again. Peter Capaldi plays which political spin doctor based on Alistair Campbell in the 2009 comedy In the Loop and the comedy TV serial The Thick of It? Moving on to number 7. Should get this one. I've mentioned the film already. The Washington Post reporters, played by Robert Redford, and Carl Bernstein, Dustin Hoffman, uncover which political scandal in All the President's Men? If you heard me earlier on, I gave away the answer to that one. You may not have heard me because of what's going on with this router tonight. I might just get the hammer out a bit later. The Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward, Robert Redford, and Carl Bernstein, Dustin Hoffman, uncover which political scandal in All the President's Men? That was my second recommendation tonight. Great film. Number 8 now, going back to the old times, classic cinema. Name the Frank Capra film from 1939. James Stewart plays a naive man appointed to fill a vacancy in the US Senate. His plans promptly collide with political corruption, but he won't back down. Tell me the name of the film. A couple of people want questions repeated. I'll do those in just a minute. Apologize about tonight. So name this Frank Capra film from 1939. James Stewart plays a naive man appointed to fill a vacancy in the US Senate. His plans promptly collide with political corruption, but he won't back down. Tell me the name of the film. Number 9 now. Name the actor. Who plays Lee Harvey Oswald in Oliver Stone's JFK? Long film from the early 90s. I've seen it for a long, long time. I did enjoy it. But tell me who plays Lee Harvey Oswald in Oliver Stone's film JFK. And the last one, number 10, and I'll repeat the ones that you asked for. I think it was questions 3 and number 6. So number 10, which political film won the Best Picture Oscar in 1950? and is about the rise and fall of a corrupt politician who makes his friends richer and retains power by dint of a populist appeal. Tricky question, probably the hardest one, number 10. But name the political film which won Best Picture Oscar in 1950. It's about the rise and fall of a corrupt politician who makes his friends richer and retains power by dint of a popular appeal. It was remade a couple of years back. I think Sean Penn was in the remake. Someone asked for number 3. Yeah, so I want you to name this political drama from 1964. It's directed by John Frankenheimer. It stars Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas, Frederick March and Ava Gardner. It's set during the Cold War, and it concerns a military leader's plot to overthrow the president because he supports a nuclear disarmament treaty and they fear a Soviet attack. But name the film. Number 4. Michael Douglas plays the president in Rob Reiner's The American President. But name the actress who plays his love interest. So number 4, Michael Douglas plays the president in Rob Reiner's The Alistair Campbell. Unstable connection again. Number 1. The Oscar-nominated actor who plays US President Richard Nixon in Oliver Stone's biographical film Nixon. So I'm looking for the Oscar-nominated actor who plays Richard Nixon in Oliver Stone's Nixon. Suzanne Chilcott. Number 2. Yeah. Sean Penn's second Oscar for portraying which American gay activist in a 2008 film? So Sean Penn won his second Oscar for portraying which American gay activist in a 2008 film? Still on the dial-up, but I may as well have been, to be honest. I'll probably get a better signal. I don't know what's going on. I'm literally about 10 centimeters from the router, which is just down here under this TV. I don't know, maybe the Stasi are watching me. Okay, anyone else need any repeating for the round? Really sorry about the connection tonight. I had some issues last week. Honestly, don't know what's going on. Next week, I'll probably use a bit of string and a bit of tin. Probably get a better connection. Spilled the gin. I think I had a few too many gins last week, which wasn't good. I think I'd had 2 before we even started. Okay, how did you get on with your political films when you could hear me and see me and the gremlins weren't wrecking the scene? How do you think you fared with your scores? Well, do another recommendation for the week, the 3rd film I watched, and we'll move on to the last round, the penultimate round, round number 5, which would be films on film. So it's films about cinema and the filmmaking process. Okay, so the last film I watched this week, I hadn't seen this since it came out in 1998, and I didn't enjoy it when it came out back in the day at the cinema. Probably my favorite actor of all time, yawn yawn. It's Robert De Niro in Ronin. It's a John Frankenheimer film. I picked this up on a Blu-ray from Arrow Films again, and I got to be honest, I enjoyed it. The second time, I've not seen this in 20 odd years. I thought it was a great action film. Good cast, really good cast of actors and actresses. De Niro as the lead, Jean Reno from Leon, Natasha McElhone, who plays an Irish lady who hires a group of people to kind of find this briefcase. We never really find out what's in the briefcase. It's kind of an espionage thriller. Also stars Stellan Skarsgård, Sean Bean, not a fan of, I got to be honest, and Jonathan Pryce. Somebody said some great car chases. There are some brilliant car chases throughout Paris, really well staged, really well filmed. I thought all the cast members were good. I do have issues with Sean Bean as an actor. I think he's the same in everything, never really tries, always has that Sheffield accent. My favourite scene was the scene where De Niro got so fed up with him that he just stuffed him over, which I did enjoy watching. No malice intended. And I got to be honest, I thought De Niro was great in this. A little bit more relaxed, not so intense with the method. It looked like he was kind of enjoying himself, and a really good performance. They were all good in this film. I thought it held up well. Great action sequences, and probably one of De Niro's better films of maybe the last 20, 30 years. Yeah, I liked it. Much better impression of this than when I saw it back in the cinema back in 1998, when I was disappointed. So my final film of this week was Ronin, another John Frankenheimer film. So can we do round number 5 with no interruptions? Fingers crossed. Please, Richard Branson. Here we go. So round number 5 is films about film. And Bikey Chick said she loves Ronin. Yeah, it's nice to see Paris as well as a... You don't see kind of Paris as a setting in Hollywood films. Really look great on camera, great location, beautiful city. Okay, number 1. So these are kind of synopsis on films. They're all about cinema, about the filmmaking process. So films turning their eye about cinema. Going to give a synopsis, just tell me the name of the film. So number 1, a 1995 film about a mobster who travels to Hollywood to collect a debt and discovers the movie business is much the same as his current job. This is a good film. I remember seeing this one back in the 90s. So it's a 1995 film about a mobster who travels to Hollywood to collect a debt and discovers the movie business is much the same as his current job. But what is the film? 1995. Number 2, trickier one, this one. This is a more up-to-date film. It's a 2015 comedy drama. Greg spends most of his time making parodies of classic movies with his mate Earl. However, his outlook is forever altered after befriending his classmate who is diagnosed with cancer. I hear this is a good film. I've not seen it. It's from 2015. Greg spends most of his time making parodies of classic movies with his mate Earl. However, his outlook is forever altered after befriending his classmate who is diagnosed with cancer. You just need to tell me the name of the film. Number 3. This is one of my favorite films about the cinema. It's a 1992 Robert Altman film about a Hollywood studio executive who is being sent death threats by a writer whose script was rejected. This is a film I need to watch again. I haven't seen this one for probably 20 years. But it's a 1992 Robert Altman film about a Hollywood executive who is being sent death threats by a writer whose script was sadly rejected. Name the film. Okay, number 4 is a 2012 Best Oscar winner. The film star develops a relationship with a young dancer against the backdrop of Hollywood's silent era. But tell me the name of the film. So number 4, a 2012 Best Picture Oscar winner. A film star develops a relationship with a young dancer against the backdrop of Hollywood's silent era. What is the film? Halfway through the round, number 5. An author reflects on her childhood after reluctantly meeting Walt Disney, who seeks to adopt her Mary Poppins books for the big screen. So a more up-to-date film. An author reflects on her childhood after reluctantly meeting Walt Disney, who seeks to adopt her Mary Poppins books for the big screen. What is the movie? Number 6, Coen Brothers film, a comedy from 2016. A Hollywood fixer in the 1950s works to keep the studio's stars in line. Number 6 again, a 2016 Coen Brothers comedy. A Hollywood fixer in the 1950s works to keep the studio's stars in line. But tell me the name of the film. Number 7 now. Fellini's masterpiece about a movie director who retreats into his memories and fantasies. This is another film I haven't seen for donkey's years. I saw it when I was about 16. I didn't know what the bloody going on, but it's classed as one of the best films ever made. It's a Fellini film about a movie director who retreats into his memories and fantasies. Number 8 now. Hollywood film, 1999. It's a comedy with Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin. A desperate movie producer fails to get a major star for his bargain basement film. He decides to shoot the film secretly around him. What is that film? 1999. Co-stars Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin. It's about a desperate movie producer who fails to get a major star for his bargain basement film. He decides to shoot the film secretly around him. What is that film? Question number 49 of the night, number 9 in this round. Francois Truffaut's film within a film. Francois Truffaut, a committed film director, struggles to complete his movie while coping with a myriad of crises, personal and professional, among the cast and crew. Guys, another film I haven't seen since university days. It was a pretty cracking film, in fairness, if you like your French films. It's a Truffaut film, Francois Truffaut. It's a film within a film. A committed film director struggles to compile his movie while coping with a myriad of crises, personal and professional, among his cast and crew. What is the name of the film? You can give me the English title or the French one. Doesn't matter. Get both. I'll give you a point each, maybe. And lastly, number 50. Last question of the round, last question of the night, last question of the second lockdown quiz. 2007 comedy. During a long English summer in the early 1980s, two schoolboys from differing backgrounds set out to make a film inspired by First Blood. Not seen this film? Here it's good. It's a 2007 comedy. During a long English summer in the early 1980s, two schoolboys from differing backgrounds set out to make a film inspired by First Blood. What's the name of the film? That's all the questions of the night. All 10 questions for the round. A film within a film, cinema, looking at cinema, the process, what goes on the set, the characters, the people involved. I always like kind of films about cinema. There's some good ones, like one called Living in Oblivion's a good one from the 90s with old Steve Buscemi. It's quite a funny one. They're struggling to get a film made. Shan thinks they got 7. That would be a good score. 8 for Zach Bowen. 9 for Bikey Chick. And Lucy Hawkins asking for 1 and 2 again, yeah? The dude confident with a 9. Okay, so I'll do 1, 2, and 3. I'll repeat those. And then a couple of things just to discuss, film related, and then we'll give you the answers. So 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 was a film from the 90s. A 1995 film about a mobster who travels to Hollywood to collect a debt and discovers the movie business is much the same as his current job. That's number one. Number two, a 2015 drama. Greg spends most of his time making parodies of classic movies with his mate Earl. However, that's the clue. However, his outlook is forever altered after befriending his classmate who was diagnosed with cancer. Number three, a 1992 Robert Altman film about a Hollywood studio executive who was being sent death threats by a writer whose script was rejected. Any more need repeating? A couple of scores announced. Predictions. They think Suzanne Chilcott thinks an 8. Jesse Letworth, a Super 8 would be a good score. Indeed, Super 8 camera. Bikey Chick, number 9. Yeah, what's number 9? Okay, so Francois Truffaut's Film Within a Film. It's a film from the 70s, 1970s. A committed film director struggles to complete his movie while coping with a myriad of crises, personal and professional, among the cast and crew. It won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film. I think it's 1973. Anyone else need any repeating for this round? Just see if there's anyone else, and then we'll move on. Hopefully no more buffering, no more technical issues. Fingers crossed. Any more scores? Anyone confident on this round? I like this round, I got to be honest. I like it when cinema casts its eye on itself. Quite interesting. There's been some good ones. We'll find out the answers in a bit. So before we finish up tonight and I'll reveal all the answers to all 5 rounds, I was going to ask you a couple of quick things. So David Fincher was a director we asked 10 questions on. Just wanted to ask your opinions, what you think of David Fincher as a filmmaker. Do you like his work? And do you think that he will win the Oscar for his new film, Mank, which is a Netflix exclusive? It's being released first week in December, I believe, on Netflix. Something like the 6th or 7th of December. I got to be honest, I think as contemporary directors go, I think he's one of the better directors working in Hollywood. I think overall his films are pretty solid. He's certainly not a one-trick pony. His films are very different. I've liked a lot of them. There's been some really good ones. What are your favourites, your picks? Yeah, he's a very visual filmmaker. A bit like Nolan, a bit like Kubrick, although I'm not sure I'd go that far maybe, but he's very visual. But I think also his stories are pretty solid. You know, he goes from different genres to genre. Certainly not a one-trick pony. I think the being in music video and in TV commercials served him well. And the dude saying, yeah, it's going back to the 90s. Brad Pitt, who's in a few Fincher films. Anyone else got some favourites? Just trying to think of some of my favourites. Thought The Social Network was pretty decent. Didn't think it was as good as what Tarantino, Happy Hollywood Ending. It left it open. Quite a dark, disturbing female character. Anyone else got some Fincher films they want to throw into the mix? What about Fight Club? Bit maligned, but I thought overall it was all right. It was Daniel Craig, wasn't it, as the detective? Anyone else want to make any comment on David Fincher? Even maybe some of the music videos or what you like, what you don't like? Yeah, mustn't talk about Fight Club, one of the rules. I still haven't seen it. That's going to be an Amazon Prime one, I think, next week. Shame to say I've never seen Fight Club. Should be kicked out the room. Okay, so my other thing I was going to ask you, well, we got Christmas coming up. What are you going to be watching over Christmas? What films are you going to check out on your streaming services? What DVDs are you going to pull off the shelf? What Christmas classics? There seems to be ones every year that people watch that spring to mind. Which ones are you gonna be watching over the festive period? Be interested to see if we're locked in during the festive period, if this lockdown will be extended. I personally think it will be, but who knows? It changes day to day. Alien 3 is worst film. That was an answer to a question. We'll find that out in a minute. Festive choices. What will you be watching over the Christmas period? What are your recommendations? My kids have been watching The Night Before Christmas a lot. I think that holds up well. The Snowman I like. Obviously, it's a short TV film. Die Hard. Planes, Trains and Automobiles, yeah. Bit of comedy. Bruce Willis with the old vest in Die Hard. Bad Santa, I've never seen that. That's Billy Bob Thornton, isn't it? Xmas movies, Mr. Harlequin's going for Die Hard 2 and Gremlins. I quite like Gremlins 2 as well. I know it's not set during the winter season, but I think it's a decent comedy sequel. Lethal Weapon, yeah. Elf with Will Ferrell, yeah. Whatever Christmas films. I like one. Used to always see it on telly as a kid. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It was an 80s film. It's about a kid growing up in the 50s, wants to get a hold of what do they call the things? A pellet rifle, and it's called A Christmas Story. Have anyone ever seen that film? I thought it was pretty decent. There's a scene where he puts his tongue on a lamppost and gets it stuck. So I'll just have a quick sip. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, yeah, with Chevy Chase. Someone saying they tried to avoid, and the songs. Yeah, I bloody hate Christmas songs. I got to be honest. I've rarely heard a decent Christmas song, apart from like the Slade one and Wizard isn't too bad. Okay, here's the answers. Pen and paper. Get your ticks and crosses out. See how you got on. Won't buffer and stop. Horror was round number 1. Yeah, good old Slade, Noddy. Played every year. Wish it could be Christmas every day. Wizard. Okay, so the first one, name the Australian horror movie from 2014. It was The Babadook. The Babadook, good horror film. Number 2, the actor was born in 1887 in Frankenstein's Monster. Sorry, he played Frankenstein's monster. It was Boris Karloff, the great Boris Karloff, synonymous with the horror. Nice and easy. Number 3, the description was Poltergeist. Poltergeist was the 1982 horror film produced by Spielberg, directed by Tobe Hooper. Number 4, it was 2 answers. It was Donald Sutherland and Judy Christie that play the married couple that go back to Venice in Don't Look Now. Great film. So Donald Sutherland 1 point and Judy Christie 1 point. 2 points there. Number 5, the film was The Omen, the Richard Donner film from 1976. Yeah, it's The Omen. Number 6, I reckon the Richards got this one. Dead easy for them. It's John Carpenter who directed Halloween, The Fog, They Live, with Roddy Piper from WWF days, and The Thing. John Carpenter, a friend of mine, managed to meet the guy backstage at the Colston Hall, signed his album, done some good music soundtracks, talented guy. Number 7, it was Norman Bates. Norman Bates is the character in the Psycho films. So Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins. Mike Oldfield it was that did Tubular Bells for The Exorcist. It was Mike Oldfield, famous album as well. Bruce Campbell played Ashley Ash J. Williams in the Evil Dead trilogy. So Bruce Campbell. And lastly, number 10, the sequel to The Shining is Doctor Sleep. And the author is Stephen King. I bet you all got that one. So Doctor Sleep for 1 point. And for the bonus point is Stephen King. So tally up your scores. How did you get on for that round? The horror. Well, the dude, definitely the dude tonight. 12 out of 12, A+, not bad at all. 10 is excellent. Mr. Harlequin, 11, that's a good score. Hannah Fountain, good with a 9, and Bikey Chick, another good score. 10, Lucy Hawkins, 11. Suzanne Chilcott, a 9, another good score. Did you like this round? It seemed like you were quite up on your horrors. Jassy Lapworth, a good score of 8. Seems like you like your scary movies. We have done horror before. 11.5. Do we get the Bruce bit? I'll be generous. It's lockdown. It's nearly Christmas. You can have half a point. No problem. Plus, you've had to put up with my internet. Gail Rogers, an 8. Okay, so number 2 was David Fincher, who we just spoke about. So number 1, Mank is based on which Hollywood screenwriter's career? Well, with writing the script for Citizen Kane is Herman J. Mankiewicz. So Herman J. Mankiewicz is the screenwriter. Number 2 is Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook, and it's Jesse Eisenberg that plays Zuckerberg in The Social Network. So it's Mark Zuckerberg 1 point, Jesse Eisenberg for another point. Someone mentioned Alien 3. That is the answer to question 3. That is the film that Fincher pretty much disowns. Said he didn't get the studio or control over the final edit. So it's Alien 3. Number 4, I said a Madonna music video, black and white, from 1990. It's Vogue. So Vogue, it's a good video, that one. Really good music video. Yeah, I'll give you half a point for Mankiewicz. Not a problem. Feeling generous tonight. Okay, so the second rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. That's the second rule. Michael Douglas is the actor in the 1997 film The Game. So Michael Douglas. It's a film I need to revisit. He's only been nominated twice for the Best Director Oscar. Looks like he's going to get a third one for Mank. But the films he's been nominated for are The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and The Social Network. So The Curious Case of Benjamin Button in 2008 and The Social Network in 2010. So 2 points. The author, I wouldn't have had a clue on this one, who wrote Gone Girl. It's Gillian Flynn. Anyone get that one? Gillian Flynn is the writer of Gone Girl. It's adapted for a 2014 film by David Fincher. The Zodiac, or Zodiac, is the film I mentioned earlier on. That is the answer to number 9, Zodiac. And number 10, the band. He directed the music video Love is Strong in 1994 is the Rolling Stones, of course. They're still going. They've been going for what, 50 plus years, still rocking, still loving their blues. National institution. Love them. The Rolling Stones. Gillian. Yeah, it was Gillian Flynn. So tally up your scores. How did you get on with? Oh, well done. Zach Bowen, really good. A 10. Emma Richards, good again. A 9. They're good, solid scores. That's some good scores so far. I thought this was quite a tricky quiz. Lucy Hawkins, a 6. The dude is really doing well tonight. He's got an 11 out of 12. Hannah Fountain's not bad. Really good. Jack M, 11.5. Mr. Harlequin, again good. Same score, 11.5. Gail Rogers, 9. Bikey Chick, 11.5. Not bad scores so far. They're good. What was round number 3? Was that sports films? Yeah, it was. Okay, you ready? 10 questions on sporting films. And here are the 10 answers. Here we go. Baseball is the film, the sport that Robert Redford plays in the film The Natural. So it's baseball is answer number 1. Number 2, the ice skater is Tonya Harding, who Margot Robbie plays in the film. So it's Tonya Harding. It's called I, Tonya, the film. Tonya Harding is the character. Number 3, it was 2 actors. I wanted you to name them, a point each for them. It's Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, who were in White Men Can't Jump. So Wesley Snipes, who never pays his taxes. And Woody Harrelson for the other point. Bend It Like Beckham is the British film from 2002. So Bend It Like Beckham, British movie. I'm trying to think of the woman's name who's in it. Big star, British actress. Oh, it's escaped me. Never mind. James Hunt is the Formula One driver. He's the focus of the film Rush. So James Hunt, the Formula One driver. Yeah, Keira Knightley. Thanks for that. Billy Parker. Yeah, Keira Knightley. So the year that the British film Chariots of Fire won the Best Picture Oscar, it was in 1982. Kind of one of the biggest mistakes I think David Putnam ever made, said, beware, the British are coming. And the British film industry's pretty much had its ups and downs, its struggles for many years. But the year was 1982, really good film. The Rumble in the Jungle was the famous bout from 1974 in Zaire. It was Muhammad Ali against George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. Gary Cooper was the actor who plays the baseball player Lou Gehrig in Pride of the Yankees. So Gary Cooper, tricky one. It was Kevin Costner in Bull Durham. So Bull Durham is the sports film from 1988. It's a baseball film. And the last one, Colin Welland, yeah, the producer. Yeah, it's quite a famous quote. Hoop Dreams is the last one, the documentary, acclaimed film. It's voted as one of the best ever made. Never seen it. It's a long film. So 3 hours, Hoop Dreams. How did you get on with your sports? Let's see what your scores are. Is there some sporting fans out there tonight? It was released in 81. But it won the Best Picture Oscar in 82. So yeah, it came out in 81. But it won it in 82. I hope. Zach Bowen, a 7. Lucy Hawkins, again, a 7. Another 7, Suzanne. Number 8 from Gail. Bikey Chick got an 8. The Dude did okay with an 8. Emma Richards has got a good score, not bad. 7's good. Okay, so some quite good scores. We'll go now with the last one. Hannah Fountain, a 9 is a good score. Round 4 was political films. Number 1, Anthony Hopkins was the actor who played Richard Nixon in Oliver Stone's film. So it's Richard Nixon, the disgraced Richard Nixon. It was Anthony Hopkins. Number 4, the female actress in The American President who plays the love interest is Mrs. Warren Beatty. It's Annette Bening. So Annette Bening is the answer for number 4. Number 5, the actor who plays Abraham Lincoln in Spielberg's Lincoln is Daniel Day-Lewis. Oh, number 2 and 3. So it's Harvey Milk is the answer for number 2. Harvey Milk. And number 3, the film was 7 Days in May. And the answer to number 1 was Anthony Hopkins. Number 5, the answer was Daniel Day-Lewis, who won the Oscar for playing Abraham Lincoln. Number 6, Peter Capaldi plays the spin doctor Malcolm Tucker. So it's Malcolm Tucker in the Loop and the comedy series The Thick of It. Number 7, what was the scandal? It was the Watergate scandal in the film All the President's Men that got Richard Nixon impeached. Well, he didn't impeach, he resigned. So it's the Watergate scandal. Number 8, the Frank Capra film from 1939 is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Number 9, the answer is Gary Oldman. It's Gary Oldman that plays Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK. And number 10, the film that won Best Picture Oscar in 1950. Did any of you get this? All the King's Men. All the King's Men. And the answer for number 4 is Annette Bening. So Annette Bening plays the female interest, the love interest in The American President. Good actress she is. How did you get on with your political films for round 4? 10 questions there. Jot up your scores. How did you do? Hannah Fountain first. She is saying a 6. Zach, a 6. Emma Richards was doing really well, but not so good this round, a 3. The dude did well again. He got an 8. Bikey Chick, really good, 9.5. Suzanne Chilcott, 6. Lucy Hawkins, 6. Jessie Lapworth, an 8. And Gail, an 8 again. You ready for the penultimate round? And Mr. Harlequin, top of the ladder, A+, top of the class. 4 marks on that one. Loses politics. Knows his left from his right. He did well there. Here we go. Films about film is the last one. It's 10 questions again. It's questions 40 to 50. Okay, so the description for number 1, the 1995 film was Get Shorty with John Travolta. Get Shorty. Rennie Russo, wouldn't it? Danny DeVito, Gene Hackman. Number 2 was Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, a 2015 film. So Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Did anyone get that one? Number 3, I love this film, Robert Altman film, 1992. Is Tim Robbins, the actor in The Player. The Player. Not seen it for a long time. The Artist is the film that won the 2012 Best Picture Oscar. The Artist, about the silent film era. The dude saying love The Player. Yeah, some loads of actors and actresses in that one. Saving Mr. Banks is the film about Walt Disney and the Mary Poppins book. So Saving Mr. Banks. The 2016 Coen Brothers film, number 6, is Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar, number 6. The Fellini film, the masterpiece, is 8.5. So number 7, 8.5. Number 8, the comedy with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy, is Bowfinger. So Bowfinger. Number 9, the Francois Truffaut film, a film within a film, is Day for Night. Day for Night, number 9. And lastly, number 10, the last one, is Son of Rambo. So Son of Rambo. So jot up your scores to see how you did, and I'm going to take a quick venture to the facilities, and I'll be back in 2. How did you get on? You're still here. When you got to go, you got to go. I think I would have wet myself otherwise. Not that you want to know that. Okay, Bikey Chick, a terrible 4. Lucy Hawkins got a 4. A paltry 5 for Hannah Fountain. Finishing on a low 3, Gail Rogers. Zach Bowen upped his game there with a 7. It's a good score. Suzanne Chilcott, a struggling 5. The dude, a 7. And it's not Mr. Baysheart in disguise. I don't know where he is this evening. Zach Bowen, 41 was his score. Molly Duke, a 42. Didn't see how. Connection problems again. It's never ending. Connection issues. Okay, so Mr. Harlequin, 47. Jesse Lapworth, 36. Hannah Fountain, 40 and a half. Gail Rogers, 36. Saying thanks for the quiz. Thanks for tuning in. Lucy Hawkins, a 34. And Bikey Chick, a good score, 44. So you all right if we're back next week, same time, same place, 8:30? That'll be the 3rd week. If to do the same next week, 45 for the dude. So yeah, we can do next week. Not a problem at all. Be same time, 8:30 for the LA Cinema quiz. Would you like a specific theme? Sometimes we do themes, like we've done the 1990s week, we've done the 1980s. Would you like a specific theme? Or do you have any recommendations for particular topics, rounds? What would you like? And we'll just try and incorporate that into next week's quiz. Emma Richards, thanks a lot. Thanks, Emma and Ian. Yeah, be interested to see your suggestions. What would you like for next week? Gangster mobster movies. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Film TV shows. We did that. They had the Barry Norman film show. Sword and Scandal movies. I like that. Food and drink. Yeah, that could be interesting. Sci-fi, yeah. Okay. Any other suggestions before we round up? Joe Miller saying period dramas. Okay, yeah. We've never done period dramas before. This could be a good one. Some of the old rounds I used to quite like the movie poster slogans. We did props from films back in the day. They were quite good. Thanks a lot, Suzanne. Musicals, okay, we could do that. Yeah, thanks for tuning in tonight. I've enjoyed it, despite the technical issues. I don't know what is going on. A few times I've been wanting to use a few curse words, but I better not. Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, we'll finish up. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for supporting LA Cinema. Thanks for supporting the quiz. Good night, and we'll slate it. So it's the end of the 2nd week, the movie quiz, LA Cinema. Getting a light reflection there. Good night, stay safe, and keep watching great movies. Good night.